If you don't know who it is, it's the Goods on YouTube. Let's get right into the video. No more playing. Today's video is the top 15 2K announcements in 2K history prior to 2K20, that is. All right, so let's get right into this. Starting out at number 15. At this point in time, I could choose from so many different announcements that NBA 2K has made over the years. NBA 2K now has a long history, so there's so many things they've announced over the years that have gotten us hyped. But number 15, taking it back to NBA 2K5, or as it's better known as ESPN NBA 2K5. ESPN NBA 2K5 was released on September 28, 2004. So what's the big deal? Why is it number 15? Well, I'll tell you why. The game was released at a $19.99 price point. That's only $20. You gotta remember, at this time, AAA titles were being released for $49.99. In an interview with ESPN Video Games, Matt Atwood and analyst Michael Patcher, they sat down and discussed the strategy behind releasing the game at only $20. According to Matt Atwood, the new strategy was not a reaction of ESPN Video Games to EA Sports. The goal here is to know us and appreciate our quality, said Atwood. Our games reviewed very well. NBA 2K has been #1 rated for the last 2 years, so we're confident in our product. Atwood insisted that it's not a budget game at a budget price, but rather a critically acclaimed game that we are putting more resources than we ever have into development and marketing. And that's just what they did. And they did it at no better time, because right around the corner the very next year, during the Christmas holiday season, the next generation consoles dropped. And there was no way 2K could have afforded to wait one more year to make that $20 move that they had made the previous year on the previous consoles. There was no way they would have made it if they would have dropped on the new consoles at only $20. Moving on, spot number 14. Oh, this game ain't for everybody. In NBA 2K16, the game went from being rated E for everyone the previous year to being rated E10+. Now, no one had ever seen the game be rated E10+, so this was new territory for all of us. I remember back in the day being on OperationSports, some people speculated that, hey, maybe it's the soundtrack. But then there was that guy that said, nah, it's a Spike Lee joint. And that guy, my friends, was absolutely right. Let's go on over to the ESRB official website and look at why the game had to be rated differently from years before. Let's see. So it says there were alcohol references, mild language, mild suggestive themes, and violent references. All right, here we go. Accompanying cutscenes include occasional references to violence, accidental death of characters, and briefly discuss one character mentions, "Open my wrist, jumping in front of a train." Oh, dialogue also contains suggestive material, discussion of thirsty hotties, a car described as aphrodisiac for hotties, a man singing "Love it how the bunnies bounce when they're on top." Whoa. That had to be Boss Key Iets. Vic. Let's see. Characters also making fleeting references to alcohol. Winnie wasn't trash. You see, that's my new meth wash. Distilled. The word damn appears in the dialogue. So yeah, I mean, at that point, we had already known that by the time this stuff was released, we had already known the My Career storyline was definitely more edgy than it had ever been. But at the time when we were first seeing the trailers and we saw the E10+ rating, you gotta admit, you had no idea what to expect from the storyline or the game altogether. But yeah, that's why this one makes number 14. All right, jumping into announcement number 13 on our top 15 NBA 2K announcements in history prior to 2K20. We got NBA 2K12 Legends. It was a legend mode, but it was called NBA's Greatest. So this mode allowed you to take 15 of the greatest NBA talents ever, hands down. 15 of those guys. Focus on their special moments, special games they had throughout their career, and play as them. But not only did you get to play as those 15 great legends, you also got to play against their legendary competition. So that's one of the things that made the mode so great. But also with this announcement, we found out that each game would have a broadcast feel of that specific era. So if you were playing with the old Celtics, like with Bill Russell, you would get a black and white broadcast. That was super dope, and that has never been replicated again since, and I really don't know why. It would be great if 2K could like update this NBA's Greatest and do another 15 players, or maybe even some of those same players. Like, I would like to play as Wilt again, no lie, but this time they should add in a player like, you know, maybe they add in a KD, a Dirk, Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant. Add in these players. That will be more than magnificent. But more on that in another video. Let's keep it moving. That was number 13. So next up, we got number 12 on the list. Now, some of you guys are probably going to kill me in the comments because this probably could be a little higher. But then again, I don't really know. So coming in at number 12, the top 12 announcement is NBA 2K15 face scans. That's right. NBA 2K introduced face scanning technology, and they announced it prior to the release of the game. Now, I remember seeing different people do videos on this, like Sub the Gamer, Chris Smooth. Man, I thought to myself, wow, this right here is definitely revolutionary. In fact, Brian Mazik even wrote an article about this technology. I will have that link down in the description. Now, this announcement right here definitely was a top tier announcement at the time. I think as we've gone over time, I've kind of, it's kind of fallen on my list just because of how face scanning played out. To me, it seems like, the ceiling for the 2K15 face scan was very good, but then the floor was, they could also be extremely bad. And it also kind of depended on what console system camera you had. Also, you couldn't even face scan on PC. So yeah, it was still kind of primitive at the time. But if you got a good face scan, it probably looked more than good. It probably looked great. But if you got a bad face scan, oh man. And then the thing about face scan is the subsequent face scans never really seem to get any better than 2K15. So I mean, well, they weren't as bad if you had a bad face scan, but they just never got better on the top end. But anyway, that is number 12 on the list. All right, let's round out this bottom 5 announcements. So right outside the top 10, we've got number 11 announcement. NBA 2K18's Run the Neighborhood. Some of you might be looking at me funny, like, run the neighborhood, but you got to remember, at the time this was announced, it was announced at an event. Prior to the event, we knew everybody was getting flown out to the event, but we didn't know exactly what the event was about. Then the morning of the event, you got everybody sending tweets, pictures, on Instagram, on different social media platforms, snapping their pictures and uploading them, showing them with the Run the Neighborhood signs. There were celebrities there, community influencers, devs, everybody was there. It was a big event And the slogan was "Run the Neighborhood." And when 2K dropped that trailer and everybody there was watching, it was nothing but cheers. And even on YouTube, when they dropped that trailer, it was incredible. Everybody was like, whoa, 2K did it. They did it. They're giving us an open world experience. That was the announcement. I mean, whoa, there was so much hype behind that, man. They were giving out Nintendo Switches and all kind of stuff. That announcement was one of the crazier announcements. Now, what happened with that game afterwards and once we all got our hands on the real game was a different story. But the actual announcement of Run the Neighborhood was one of the hypest things I've seen. The fact that it didn't really live up to its hype is what kept this kind of lower on the list. But there you have it, number 11, the announcement of Run the Neighborhood. All right, guys, so we've gone through number 15, 14, 13, 12, and 11. So before I get into the top 10, I want to say thank you guys for rocking with the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, or just leave me a comment. Tell me what would have been your number 15 through 11. And I'm actually going to go get something to drink, and then I'm coming right back